Hi, how's it going? This is President of Collinwood for YouTube back with another Dark Shadows video for you guys and gals. I'm here to give my review of episode 125, written by Ron Sproat, directed by Leela Swift. So this episode, David comes into the old house. He's looking for his dad. He says, "Father, father, father," and you don't see Roger at first, but then he does come from upstairs. He's coming across the landing. He comes down the steps, and he says, I've been calling for you." He goes, "I was upstairs in the east wing closing the windows. It's getting ready to storm. And I have to tell you something, David, not now. Didn't you hear what I just said? It's getting ready to storm." And then Roger closes the window in the drawing room, and they're both there. He goes, "It's important." And Roger stops. He goes, "Okay, what is it?" Is this a changing between Roger and David? Well, really, Roger would listen to David. I mean, he would be annoyed with him like he is here, but he would still hear him out. I mean, he'd talk to him. And this is what you have here. And he goes, "But David says, you have to promise me I won't get in trouble." "What did you do?" And Roger says that. And he goes, "Well, nothing. I didn't do anything. You have to promise me." He goes, "David, if you did something, you will be punished, especially if it's something wrong." And he goes, "You'll be sorry if you don't do this. You'll cause somebody to die." And Roger he's thinking this is one of David's games. Because to be fair to Roger, I got to be fair to both David and Roger. David does play some games. Sometimes he's honest, sometimes he's dishonest. And, you kind of got to lean towards which way he is. And this time we all know he's being very honest. He's trying to help Victoria Winters. So we see the old house. Matthew is coming, out of the what is it, the bookshelf, if you will, and he's walking, um, talking to Victoria Winters, I should say, and she's tied up, and he wants to leave. And he's very paranoid, and she goes, "I'll go with you." She has her hands tied behind her back, but keep in mind that the ropes are a little looser from when David untied her. He puts the blind thing back on her. He's upset because the reason it's off, and he knows it wasn't off when he left her. Um, this is also a very, very interesting episode between Matthew and Vicky, and I'll get into that here in a moment. But Matthew puts the thing back on in her mouth, the little handkerchief, and he leaves to go pull the car up, to pull the truck up. Sorry. Um, Back at the old house, David looks like he fell asleep here, sitting in the chair. He gets up out of the chair in the drawing room, and Roger, who said he was going to go close the garage, comes back. He says, "Father," well, sorry, before that, he's in the drawing room, and this is before Roger comes back. You get the ghost of Bill Malloy, and Bill Malloy says, "Help Miss Winters." "I can't help Miss Winters." It's very creepy. You can kind of see it coming a bit. This is my how going through these episodes, but it still looks so goddamn good. Um, I gotta give credit to Frank Schofield and David Hennessy here. Great interaction. And yeah, David Hennessy selling the ghost. Great job by him as his character David Collins. The ghost disappears. Roger comes in. "Who are you talking to?" And David's honest with him. He goes, "I was talking to the ghost of Bill Malloy." "Oh, now, David." And, Roger doesn't really care, want to hear that or believe that. You gotta, you gotta believe me, Father. You gotta help. Excuse me. You gotta believe me. You gotta, listen to what I'm saying. The only thing I gotta believe is to get you up in bed. And he takes him upstairs. And now David sneaks back down. He phones Burke. He phones Burke Devlin in this whole process and says, tell him that it's about Miss Winters to come up to Collinwood. And so he leaves that message. So keep in mind, it was getting ready to storm, right? So you have this interaction between Matthew and Bill Malloy. And Bill Malloy says, Matthew Morgan, you murdered me. You killed me. I can't believe it's Bill Malloy's ghost. Like, he is in shock here. Matthew has been going crazy and now he is fully gone. I'm not saying his insanity is causing him to see Bill Malloy. No, it's his guilty conscience that is causing him to see not just see Bill Malloy, but Bill Malloy is fictionally appearing in front of him. So Bill Malloy says somebody will die at Collinwood tonight. Now, you might say, well, that's kind of weird because that's the great house, right? Well, here's the thing. He says at Collinwood, right? He didn't specify which one because there's two. The old house is the original Collinwood. The Great House is the newer Collinwood, if you will. Well, it's not new, but it's newer than the old house. So Matthew goes back through the forest. Vicky gets herself untied and out of her handkerchief off, out of the chair. Remember, David loosened the ropes. She comes out of the bookshelf carefully. As she's sneaking through, Matthew comes into the old house. And he says, I chopped all the wood for tonight, Mrs. Stoddard. Is that all you want from me? And you might say, Mrs. Stoddard. He's confusing Victoria Winters for Mrs. Stoddard. So there's a lot to get to here. You know, many people think that Victoria Winters is the daughter of Elizabeth Collins Stoddard, played by actress Joan Bennett. So from a behind-the-scenes standpoint, Alexander, who was auditioning for the role, Joan Bennett happened to be down at the studio when she was auditioning, and she said, "Is this a practical joke? That looks like one of my daughters." When Alexander was auditioning, so they just, because they liked Alexander's performance, and hey, she looks a little like Joan, let's cast her. So there you go. That's the behind the scenes stuff there. Really interesting because I mean, many fans, including me, feel that Vicky is Elizabeth's daughter. Um, Again, we'll never know. Currently, we'll never know. Not for the time being. They never revealed it. So Matthew and her having this conversation, and Vicky's going along with it. Oh, Matthew, you can go back to your cottage. Wait, what are we doing at the old house? And she goes, we were looking for David. And which is true. I mean, because she was looking for David, and when they were here before all this chaos started, the last time those two were actually there before her kidnapping was looking for David. Well, that and Matthew tried to kill her. God. So Matthew finally comes to when Vicky's getting ready to leave. You're not Mrs. Stoddard. You're Victoria Winters. And he grabs her and he puts her back into the bookshelf, behind the bookshelf. He's not too happy with her. And keep in mind, he's not in his right frame of mind either. Back at the Great House, you see Burke Devlin pound on the door. And Roger's like, what is this? And he goes, has there been word about Miss Winters? And Roger goes, there's no word about Miss Winters. Somebody phoned. Get David. Get David. I'm not getting David. People are asleep in his house. And you see the the wet on Burke's face because it's been raining. Really great effects job. It's simple, why not? And finally, David comes out, Burke, you know, you gotta promise me I won't get in trouble. So, and by the end of this, you have Matthew Morgan threatening that he will kill Miss Winters. He says that if he kills her, the ghost won't bother him anymore. So he keeps blaming her for his problems. This is just another one of those that he's going to blame her for. What an episode, too. You have great chemistry between Thayer and Alexandra. Great chemistry between Lewis Edmonds and Uh, David. Really great job, David Hennessy. Mitchell Ryan, in this episode, really, really good. I mean, they have it all, and to top it all off, they have the ghost of Bill Malloy. Frank Schofield comes back, and this isn't going to be his last time. That's coming up, but after that, you won't see Frank Schofield no more because you don't need to. At least Bill Malloy's ghost, right? So Ghost do and can move on from Collinwood, and this is kind of proof of that too. If you're really paying attention to all the craziness that's going on in Dark Shadows, pay attention to one thing. The supernatural make their own decisions. Link to this episode is going to be in the description box. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.